Outside, the snow is falling. The little girl wants to hear her mother tell stories about the salty lake. But that story that mom told me was the story of slapping an idiot on the butt, but she also heard that story and she wanted to hear the story that mom had never told before. Then mom will tell an ancient fairy tale about a worm who promised the villagers he would protect a good wheat harvest, and the worm kept that promise for a very long time. The little girl seemed to have enjoyed listening to the stories her mother continued to tell for some time in the village. The phrase, people running away, appears. They say that the ripe rice flowers fall because of people, the erosion blows the rice flowers down, it's also because the people running on them, and the buying of rice fails. They also say it's because people eat them. The girl wanted to hear the ending, which was probably a happy ending, but no, gradually everyone in the village no longer remembered the promise. They farmed and grew rice themselves and people gradually forgot about the bamboo shoots. The little girl wondered where the child had gone and her mother slowly told her. One day a guy was on his way to work with his horse when he was stopped. He explained that he was up in the mountains and there was a village. He went there to deliver some salt. The soldier asked what was on the cart. It was fur. There was also some wheat he brought because it was resistant to mold and pests. He didn't know what was going on that made soldiers appear here because there were rumors of a foreign festival being held in the surrounding villages. There was a pagan village that held festivals and preached non-pagan religion. The soldier asked him if he knew anything. You don't know what's going on in the fields where people are busy harvesting wheat. He said hello to everyone but no one remembered this person's name. He happily introduced himself for the second time as a vendor named Lauren. It seemed like this year's harvest was very good. He asked everyone if they had seen the Ira anywhere. He was in the field over there. If you don't hurry up, you may not be able to meet him because today everyone is organizing to catch gourds. Maybe he will become a gourd. Lauren drove away to see everyone scrambling to catch the last bundle of rice to be cut. Lauren heard a strange sound behind the car but he didn't pay much attention because he was busy watching. His Ira friend, who was a gourd maker, was running away but was immediately stopped. The gourd was caught and taken to the warehouse. And if a celebrity asks to meet Lauren again, he will be locked in there for a week. Perhaps it was a bumper crop all thanks to the Count and Hendos. Lauren thought he was probably praying to his uncle that the bad harvest was due to the werewolf's displeasure. But now the Count of Hendos has taught people new methods of growing crops, so there is no fear of crop failure. The uncle held out a silver coin. Lauren was surprised. He had never thought that he could see so much silver in this remote area. The uncle also saw that Ira did a great job. He negotiated the price. He said he learned from Lauren. He really wanted to meet you. He will return tonight but Lauren has to leave and he must deliver the goods on time. Lauren saw people happily dancing at the festival, but he saw no reason for an outsider like him to participate. He walked from this afternoon until evening. After feeding the horse, he decided to rest here. The bright moonlight illuminated the entire sky as he opened the silver cover when he was suddenly startled to see someone in the pile of fur. It was a girl. He shook her. In the pile of fur, an ear appeared. She wiped the fish and asked for wine to enjoy the moon, but he lived a very cold life and didn't have any of that. Who are you? She asked for food again. Lauren cautiously pulled out the vegetables and asked if she was possessed by a demon, but she didn't tremble at all. Saying that he was not from the village so she snuck into the car to go out could not blame him because only people in the village knew. She hasn't been in this shape for a long time but it's not bad. She said her name was Holo. He knew someone in the village also had that name. She didn't know there was a creature with the same name as her. Lauren said it was the guardian god in this village. Holo has been bound to the village since birth, and she doesn't want to be a saint at all. She just wants to be Holo, simply Holo. She was born in a place called Ioisu Xoi White Holo of Ioisu. Have you ever heard of it? She suddenly curled up and lay down because in this form she always felt cold. Lauren wanted her to prove that she was a scoundrel, so she refused because he wanted her to become a scoundrel. He would take her to church. She hated church. So she returns to being the guardian angel of a village she also doesn't like. But he saw that she was the goddess of the harvest, and if she was truly the one who rode at Holo, she would bring him luck. Holo asked again. He really wanted to see the price no matter what. She said there is no living being that does not pay the price for holiness. Change his shape. In this case, people need to live quickly. Lauren was startled but it could have been wheat. Then the gourd took a stalk of wheat, after plucking a few grains, and put it in her mouth. Suddenly she couldn't stand. He reached out to support her, and the girl suddenly turned into a giant wolf. Seeing this, the horse also wanted to drop its spear and run away. After standing still for 20,000 seconds, he returned to the village and asked his uncle to stay the night because he saw that he was too sunny and rainy in the afternoon. Even Eara is here. He's happy to see you again. After she gave him the room, his uncle asked him to clean it up, but he didn't expect to see a sumptuous table of food upstairs. Eara brought it here as an offering. If the wolves ate it all, it would be a waste. Wouldn't you be locked in a barn for a week? Eara sees it as just superstition. There are no wolves living in the wheat fields. It's just an excuse for the villagers to celebrate the festival. The two continued to drink and drink until Eara got drunk and left. Lauren was shown by the village chief and he saw that Eara was very good, but he said he could only learn everything from him. He doesn't know how long it has been since he started buying rice in this village. According to Eara's memory, it started before the Earl of Hendos became the lord. The previous lord collected more and more taxes, making it impossible for anyone to sell wheat because the price was too high. When Lauren arrived, he bought some wheat. With the high price, he saw that back then no one was willing to sell wheat to a street merchant like him. But since then the village has become more developed and even more merchants have come to the village to buy rice, and now Eara has been paid like a big man. Eara had too much to drink, so he sent him home. He was sure that next year and the years after that the harvest would be bountiful. I hoped the gourd would always be happy. But he didn't want to mention it because there were no wolves, so people didn't need gourds anymore. Lauren returned and was still thinking about her brother's words about not needing a gourd when she was startled because the gourd was inside a python. He was curious as to where she had been in the village, in the wheat fields instead of where, until the rice hills were gradually harvested. It was difficult to escape, but fortunately she met his carriage and asked him if he was afraid of his wolf form. To be honest, at first the big guy forced her to transform, but he was scared and he also knew that she was avoiding his sight. That's what people usually see. When they see her true form, a few people will react differently. She protected the wheat fields for a long time, and when the harvest was bumper, everyone held a festival to celebrate. But when the land failed, they blamed her for her erratic temperament. Everyone gets old and no one respects her anymore. She was forgotten. Without the gourds, they would still have a good harvest. Lauren asked what if I believed her. Isn't he also afraid to pee when he sees Miss Lauren's somewhat rustic appearance? After stopping for about 2 seconds, he asked her if she wanted to go somewhere. The gourd suddenly fell silent. The wind blew through the door and the moonlight illuminated her beautiful face. Holo said he wanted to go south. The next morning, before dawn, Lauren left, far away from the village, so he called out the gourd. She felt so uncomfortable in there that it was so tight that she couldn't change her clothes. To her surprise, Lauren stole the clothes he had saved. Everyone knows that his outfit is Lauren's best outfit in the past 15 years. It's true that good clothes must be beautiful and sewn well, as if they were made for you. It's true that robbery in the middle of 3 days is real and the fox wants to go with Lauren. She saw him as a good and generous person. Lauren saw that this was also fate, so she missed it, so she let the gourd go with her, but if she did it, she would eat it. He couldn't praise her. The fox thanked him for his kindness and promised to praise the kind Lauren for the rest of his life. And this wolf with its pride will not eat your temple. Lauren reached out to hold the gourd down and was surprised by this politeness. Then he playfully encroached on Lauren's seat, making a flat guy like him have to ignore her. Please subscribe to GNMIGO channel to not miss interesting videos.